Hey guys, we are officially live. Welcome to another live stream. I'm getting my life situated, getting my papers in order, all the things. So thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome, what it is, what it sounds like, what it feels like, all the things about imposter syndrome. Now I'm going to open this a bit more just so we're situated, tech stuff. If you're joining me, let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you're drinking a beverage while you're watching this. I've got my tea. It's called throat coat. It's to help when you talk a lot. So I'm a person that talks a lot, so I got my tea. Okay, tasty. So if you're joining me, welcome. Hi, hello, I'm Sarena Hess. I'm a confidence coach for women. When you think confidence, you might think like crazy energy, vibrant, loud, center of attention, life of the party. And on one hand, that can be true, but that's not always the case. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the most confident. You don't have to be the most energetic person in the room to be the most confident. Confidence is really based on whose personality that owns it. And so if you're an introvert and you are confident, that's great. It might not look the same though as someone who is an extrovert and who is confident. Confidence is different, and it's something that we build over time, improving our mindset and improving our beliefs about ourselves. So if you're joining me, let me know in the chat. Say, hey, how's it going? Let me know what's going on. But today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. And one of the interesting things, if you don't already know what imposter syndrome is basically that nagging belief inside of you that you're not enough, or that you don't have the credibility to do the thing that you want to do, or that somehow because of what you are or who you are, you're a woman, you're young, whatever the reason is, that discredits you from doing the thing you want to do. Lauren, hey Lauren. Lauren says, hey girl. Lauren's my homie. She's always hanging out with me on my lives. I'm gonna open this. Lauren, I'm so glad to see you. So glad to hear from you. So we're following up with imposter syndrome and what it is, why we have it, and how to get rid of it, because Lord knows we need to get rid of it. So imposter syndrome is the voice inside of our head that discredits ourselves from opportunities before we even have the chance to put ourselves out there, to put ourselves in the game. So imposter syndrome is a phenomenon. Like, it's not just you that has it. Multiple people have it across the world, and it's something that you're doing to yourself. So I've experienced imposter syndrome, and it's taken me out of applying for like different opportunities that I didn't think I could get. Imposter syndrome can hold you back from like making the leap with a business. Imposter syndrome can hold you back from getting a promotion at work because you're automatically like looking for reasons why you cannot do it, and looking for reasons why it is a bad idea if you put yourself out there. Imposter syndrome, it sounds bad, right? And you might be wondering, like, why does this exist? Why do we have this in our head? Why don't we just have things that are good, that support us? Well, it exists to keep us safe, and it exists to keep us alive. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, when we were cavemen and cavewomen, imposter syndrome was actually around to keep us from death. So back then, the opportunities that we were discrediting ourselves from were things that could kill us, right? No, I don't think you can jump off that cliff. That's probably not safe. No, I don't think you should talk to that neighbor tribe. They don't seem very friendly. No, I don't think you should go and chase after that saber-toothed tiger. Those are things that could actually kill you. And so that's when imposter syndrome was created in our brains. But the problem is, the world we live in now is not as life or death as back then, when there were saber-toothed tigers and people that wanted to kill us and actual physical dangers. The world that we live in now is very, very safe, relatively, and there are not as many things trying to kill us as that world when we were cavemen and cavewomen. So Kat Webster, I've been struggling with imposter syndrome lately. When something good came my way, immediately this voice tells me I'm not worth it. Okay, yes, that is the voice of imposter syndrome. And so when you trace back to that thought, Kat, or that feeling of I'm not worth it, then that actually relates to like our feelings of worthiness. Like, are you worthy of living? Are you worthy of taking up space in the world? Are you worthy of getting the job opportunity, or are you worthy of getting a raise? Like what determines our worth, you know? And so that's different for everybody. I know for me, like I'm a Christian, so a lot of my worth comes from God and knowing who I am and knowing I'm secure. But at the same time, like in the business sense and in the life sense, like, are you worthy of being loved? Are you worthy of, like what I said, taking up space? It's hard to wrestle with. And that kind of circles back to our beliefs. Like, what do you believe about yourself? If you believe you're a piece of garbage, I mean, if you believe you're a piece of garbage, you probably won't believe that you're worthy of a good opportunity. And so, like, I feel like someone struggling with worth, or like that sense, like I don't deserve it, that would be a good chance, like good opportunity to work on your beliefs. Like, who do you see yourself as? Like, do you see yourself as the type of person that is worth taking care of? Like, like you are, like, spoiler alert, you're worth the time it takes to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself, to implement the self-care in your life. But sometimes we forget that. Sometimes it's just easy to kind of bop along in social media and kind of like, do our own thing and see everybody else in the world and forget, like, no, it's important for me to value myself. And it's important for me to value the time that I need to fill my cup and to feel like I have a place in this world. Because sometimes, like when we're looking around on social media, it's like, oh my gosh, like they have it all together, they have it all together, they have it, like, and we feel terrible, right? Like, I don't know, is that just me? When we're looking around on social media and it's like, dang, everybody's got all that in a bag of chips and I only have crumbs. That's how it feels. It feels like you only have crumbs sometimes. But when it comes to filling our cup, I know there's that cliche phrase, like you can't pour from an empty cup, but it's true. And so each person is different. We established that confidence looks different for each person. And it's your job to figure out the things that do fill up your cup. So I don't know. I don't know what it is for you. I don't know if going on a walk fills up your cup. Cool. Awesome. Please do that. Please do something that'll make you happier. Please give yourself 30 minutes, or please give yourself the hour that you know after you do XYZ activity, you'll feel happier and you'll feel refreshed. Because nobody's going to just like hand you that time. No one's going to be like, oh, you really need to go on a walk. I think you'll feel a lot better. Like, it's your job to fight for your time and do the things that you know will refresh you, and do the things that you know will make you feel like, you know, like I just feel like I'm in a good mental place. And it's hard. I know it's hard to prioritize. Like, sometimes when we're not thinking about it, time just goes by and we look and we're like, oh my gosh, I've just spent 30 minutes on YouTube doing absolutely nothing. But if we actually assess like what we're doing with our time and how we're feeling after we do things, like that's my problem. I go on Instagram and it's like, okay, how do I feel after I go on Instagram? Tired, worn out, not very good, right? Or how do I feel after I go on Netflix for an hour? Kind of empty, a little lonely, because I've been watching other people's friendships. And it depends what you're watching. It depends on the content you're consuming. But how much more life-giving would a different activity be that fills up your cup? So whether, I know Lauren really likes working out. So Lauren, maybe you go and you do like an hour-long, super fun, super intense workout. Like, you would feel a lot different doing the workout as opposed to sitting and watching whatever show. Like, you would feel a lot different. And then as a result, like the type of person you are, like Netflix, right? And then workout. The type of person you show up in the world, these two people, they are different. The workout person probably has more energy, probably a little bit more bubbly. You probably feel happier and refreshed and accomplished. And the Netflix girl, you know, maybe she's a little slower, she's a little lazy, you know, like you show up very differently depending on what you do. So be very careful on what you choose to give your attention to. And if you're feeling like you're not worthy of the time, you're not worthy of the job opportunity, you're not worthy, I think that really stems from feeling like you deserve time and deserve to invest in yourself and things like that. I've started a worthiness journal. Every morning I write down a truth about my worthiness, followed by something I want to believe about myself. Okay, so that's interesting. I've never heard of a worthiness journal. I love that idea. Kat, was that something that you came up with yourself, or did you read it online somewhere? Because I love that idea, but I've never heard of it. Every morning I write down a truth about my worthiness. Okay, so I think I kind of know what you mean, but I'm not fully there. I'm not fully with you. So what does that mean? Like, you write down a truth about your worthiness. What is an example of a truth that I'm being nosy? And then followed by something I want to believe about myself. And so, yeah, for the something you want to believe about yourself, what does that sound like too? I love examples, and then any like activity or like self-improvement thing. I always try on different people's self-improvement examples or activities and then see if it works for me, because personal development is so different for everybody. Lauren, it's so true. When I'm grumpy, my husband tells me to go work out because he knows it'll make me feel better. He's like, for my husband and I, we usually get grumpy when we haven't eaten. So eating is a form of self-care as well. And so I'm always like, you need to eat a snack or something. Or he'll tell me that, like, have you eaten today? You're grumpy. And it's funny how the people around us, the people who we're living life with, our parents, a significant other, whoever, they see us when maybe we're not paying attention to our behavior. So they see us and they're like, wow, you're a little grumpy. Like, why don't you do something about that? And it's like, man, those people must really love us to see us at our best and worst, because sometimes I ignore my worst moments personally. Okay, love that idea. My counselor suggested it. Okay, well, kudos to your counselor. I'm gonna have to Google this like worthiness journal activity prompt, because I've never heard of it and it sounds really, really like beneficial. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea because I did not make it for nothing. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this conversation about like filling your cup and worthiness and that kind of thing. Let me know. Take a sip of this. It's super hot. Okay, example. Okay, perfect. The example came up. I know as a child of God, I am worthy of his love, and I want to believe that I am worthy of another person's. Okay, interesting. So I think that's really good. That's really cool. And it's kind of similar to affirmations, it sounds like. I don't know for sure how, like that's just one example. But I know affirmations, you're speaking as if the thing that you want already exists. So, for example, for me, I was a person that was always late. My whole life, I was late. And I really wanted to break that habit. So instead of saying, I want to believe or I want to be someone that is early, I said, I am the type of person who shows up early. So it's kind of a different, it's the same concept, but it's kind of a different mindset. And so if the worthiness journal works for you, awesome. Keep it, like, by all means. But another idea, if you're open to trying something else, is trying affirmations. You've probably like heard about them and maybe thought they were kind of dumb. I know I did for sure. Like standing in front of a mirror and being, I am beautiful, I am beautiful. It can sound a little cheesy, but if you customize the affirmations to the thing that you're struggling with, it connects a little bit more and can get you emotionally excited. So, I'm trying to give you like a specific example, so it's not like just poof, fairy dust. So the on time one, yes, but other affirmations, oh, that's an affirmation I need to start, Lauren. Yes. So like for me, one of my affirmations that I just really want to be true in my life is like, when I walk into a room, I am vibrant and alive and full of life. And so those different words and phrases, they get me excited, and they're very specific to how I want to show up in the world. So I'm vibrant and alive and full of life. Like, I want to be the type of person that is full of life. But just because those are the phrases that I like doesn't mean that they'll resonate the same with you. So honestly, like, whatever works for you, whether it's the worthiness journal or like adjusting your affirmations to what gets you excited, please, by all means, do the thing that works for you. But those are just some ideas. Those are just some examples of what I've done. I've really liked affirmations, and it's not like so rigid, like do this every single morning at 7 a.m. Like, I'll do my affirmations when I remember. I'll do my affirmations. I'll set an alarm on my phone to do them, or like once a week to do them. Or just when I notice I'm feeling really bad about myself, then I'll be like, why am I feeling so bad? Oh, I haven't done affirmations in a while. So just kind of that checking in with yourself. Okay, that's an affirmation I need to start. Lauren, you're so funny. Okay, so back to imposter syndrome. Circle back, U-turn. So imposter syndrome automatically discredits us from the opportunities that we could have, right? And so today I wanted to transition and to talk about, like, okay, imposter syndrome exists. It does not serve us anymore. It does not serve us right now in this world that is not trying to kill us. Imposter syndrome makes us question our worthiness. It makes us question whether we deserve to take up space on this world. And it makes us doubt our skills and talents and abilities. In the last live, we talked about how imposter syndrome discredits women specifically, and it makes women be less likely to take up job promotions, which totally sucks, and I would love to change. And imposter syndrome is just something that, again, doesn't serve us. So how do we get rid of it? What do we do to get rid of this ongoing thing that keeps popping up in our life? One of the things about personal development that I hate, but I get, but I also hate, is it's not usually like a one and done type of thing. It's not usually like you spend one morning journaling for 4 hours and then you don't have to deal with that problem again. That's not, maybe you're the different unicorn person and that happens for you, but that doesn't happen for me. Usually with personal development, you're like cruising through life and then something happens and you like break down, or you start crying, or you feel really overwhelmed, and then you're like, what's this? What's happening here? What is what's going on? And then you deal with it a little bit, whether you do the worthiness journal, or you do affirmations, or you talk it out with a friend or a therapist or coach, whatever. And then you're good. Okay. Take a deep breath, stop crying, wipe off the tears, that kind of thing. And then you keep putting through life, and then something else happens and it kind of triggers the same thing that happened back here. And that's frustrating, right? I wish personal development was just constant, upward, but it's not. It's messy, and you do well and you have to fall back, and it's But looking at your life as a whole and having grace with yourself as a whole helps you become a stronger, more empowered, more worthy feeling woman. So let's just keep that in mind as we're getting into the solutions for tackling imposter syndrome. It is like a zigzag. It's not a straight mountain up. It's a zigzag. So you might be feeling really, really good, and then you might have a little bit of a like burnout, not so good, and then go up, and then that's normal. And if you feel like that, please don't ever say like, oh, it's just me. Oh, I'm the only one going through this. That is a lie. That is a big fat lie. You're not the only one who does well and then falls down. We just don't post the falling down on Instagram, right? It's not as cute. It doesn't get as many likes. There was a girl that I was talking with yesterday, and I was like, how was your year? Like, I know it was a hard year, but how was your year? And she said, personally, some really hard things have popped up, but I haven't shared a word of it on social media, just for her personal reasons. And I thought that's so interesting because a lot of people aren't sharing everything, and I don't expect everyone to share everything, but sometimes I forget that Instagram isn't real. And sometimes I forget that Instagram isn't the full picture. It's really not. People don't share everything online. Let me know in the comments. Do you share everything online? I do not. So Instagram isn't real, and we need to overcome imposter syndrome because it's just going to keep knocking us down. It's going to keep us from making money. It's going to keep us from going after opportunities and going after dreams. So what do? Number one, take notes if you're a note taker. Number one is you have to get quiet. Now, I know Lauren and I have talked about this. As an Enneagram 7, that means I like my life fun. I like my life loud. I like to be constantly stimulated. And stimulation can be a text message, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Netflix, whatever, voices, new information I can get in. I'm wanting information all the time. But the problem is, if we're constantly taking in information, it can be hard to sift out how we feel and what's going on inside of our head. So if you're constantly like eating, you'll never have enough time to digest your food, right? Like you'll never really, you'll constantly be stuffed and your body will have trouble digesting all this food. So we need to have periods where we go and we eat, we consume information, we get what we need, and then we take time away to pause and reflect. So would you say imposter syndrome tends to come with or before feelings of isolation? I think imposter syndrome comes as a result of feelings of isolation. So I guess after, because social media is really isolating. It can be, depending on who you follow. But when we feel like it's just us going through something or it's just us in this bubble, then it can be really easy to compare ourselves to so-and-so, to this fitness influencer or this Instagram model. And then there's more so the voice of like comparing and imposter, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't do that. So I feel like isolation comes and then imposter syndrome comes, but honestly, like it's a zigzag. You might be doing good, feeling like you have a lot of friends, and then imposter syndrome still sneaks up. So it's hard to pinpoint imposter syndrome, but you just have to know what it sounds like, and you have to know what it feels like and how it makes you feel. So that's what I'd say. Let me know, like, what do you think? What do you think imposter syndrome? Do you think it comes with or before isolation? Like, I'd love to hear your take. This is a conversation. I know I'm talking, but like, I want to hear your opinions and your thoughts too. Like you're the confidence community. So community, I don't know, commute. Anyway, so with imposter syndrome, number one, you have to get quiet. You have to pull back. So what are some tangible ways that you can actually get quiet in your life? Lauren, I know you're like me. I know you struggle. You want all the voices because that's the Enneagram 7 thing. Kat, let me know if you know your Enneagram number because it's really fun to understand how you work a little bit more. So ways to get quiet are to go on a walk in the morning. No stimulation though. So what I mean by that is go on a walk and you're not listening to a podcast. You're not listening to music. If you are listening to music, maybe it has no words, like soft jazz, but just go on a walk and look around and just kind of like sift through what's in your head. Because a lot of people have a lot of things going on in their head, But if you never take the time to digest it and to process it and get clear on what you're thinking, then you're going to feel really scattered. And you're going to feel like you see people online and it'll be like, oh my gosh, well, they have it all together, but I don't even know what I want to do. Like, I don't even know my next project that I want to work on, or I don't even know like what I want to do next with my life. So it's really important to get clear on what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Why do you think everybody gets their best ideas in the shower? Right? You can't bring your phone in the shower. It's kind of hard to listen to podcasts. You can't really watch Netflix or anything. And I mean, you could get a little shower TV, but most of the time, if you're in the shower, it's quiet. And that quietness, that stillness gives you the opportunity to sift through what's going on in your brain. Personally, I feel like I have to write things down to think and to process. And so personally, I have like a big fat journal. I just got this one, so happy. Let me know if you're a journaler. But I have that big fat journal, and if something is bothering me, then I have to write it out and see like what is going on inside. Like, it's important to sift through how you're feeling and sift through what's going on inside your brain. So Kat is over here, and Lauren, I know for me, good friends can help me see positive parts of myself. Yeah, which helps me feel more worthy. So when I'm disconnected from those friendships, imposter syndrome gets a lot louder. Okay, so Lauren, you're saying when you're disconnected from your people, from those friendships, then imposter syndrome kind of like revs up. And what it is, you know, like it's those little lies. Imposter syndrome is the little lies in our head. And so when your friends are around you and you have community like supporting you, those good friends, they see the lie quickly and they can extinguish it. Like, no, not true. We don't have any time for that. And that's a good friend. That's a great friend. Like, I need more friends like that in my life. But sometimes life gets busy and we get in different seasons of life from our friends, and we do feel more isolated. And so when the lies start to creep in and maybe we don't have the support system with us to chop the lie immediately, then our brain can kind of go, oh, well, that sounds right. Maybe my project hasn't been working out because I'm not skilled. Or maybe like this goal to write a book hasn't been working out because maybe I don't have what it takes. Where when you have your friends around you to support you and uplift you, they'd be like, no, that's a bunch of baloney. Don't believe it. But when it's just us and we're kind of like in that season of loneliness, yeah, absolutely. Our brain goes like, yeah, that makes sense. Like that would be why this hasn't happened for me yet. That would be why this isn't working yet. So that's very true, that it's so important to surround ourselves with positive, encouraging people in our lives. Okay. For me, it seems to come before isolation. I don't know my Enneagram. My brother just sent me the book. Okay, before isolation. Imposter syndrome before isolation. And so, Kat, do you, like for yourself in your life, do you see imposter syndrome coming, and then does that cause you to isolate because you start to compare yourself? Or like, because that's kind of what it's sounding like, but let me know, like, is that what it is? What happens? Like, you start to feel it and then you like kind of make up that script in your head. Is that what happens? I'm just curious. And then, yeah, I know everybody was freaking out about the Enneagram last year. I was like, at first I was like, what the heck's going on? I don't care about this, blah, blah, blah. And then I got into it and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like it too. Everybody must go and do this. So it's really a good tool to understand why you do things and like how you operate in this world. Obviously, it's not true for everyone. Obviously, there's differences, but it's kind of a good overall understanding for like, okay, how do I show up in this world? How do I operate? What does that look like for me? So yeah, I definitely encourage you to read that book. And is it The Sacred Enneagram? Is that the book that he got you? Or, because I know there's a few. Let me know. It's so hard to turn off all the noise. One thing that helps me is cleaning up the house, so I don't have any distractions, especially with quarantine. Then I can really sit with myself. And isn't it funny working from home or like being at home all day? It's hard to get things done. Like it's hard to get YouTube videos or creative projects done when the house is messy. I found, for me, Lauren, let me know like if you feel that way too, but it's hard. Like if I have to sit and work at my computer, but I know I have dirty dishes, then I'll like procrastinate by doing the dishes. And it's like, I know I need to get the work done first, but the dishes are bothering me. It's hard to work in an unclean space. I feel like your space is has a lot to do with self-care as well. Like make sure you like your space that you're in. Okay. Yes, almost see it. Yes, can almost see it. Quiet walks with my dog are when I can reflect and recharge. And I can't talk. Oh, Lord, I need coffee in here instead of tea. An injury took my normal workout coping and just recently have been able to start walking my dog again. Okay, exactly. And so different seasons of your life will come and you have to look at like, okay, what's working for me? What's not working for me? So Kat, like you got injured and you couldn't do like, maybe, I don't know what your normal workout was. If it was like Pilates or like CrossFit, I don't know what you normally did to work out, but that was probably your thing where you're like, okay, I go, I feel refreshed, I feel better. And then you come home and you're like, ah. But then when you got injured, it's probably like, you're probably really frustrated. Like, what do I do? You know, like that's my thing that I do. And that's how life is. It evolves and we can't be so rigid. Like I want to do things this way because I'm a control freak. I want to do the things that I want to do, but sometimes life just throws you curveballs and you literally just cannot. For example, like last year, one of my goals for 2020, I put by the end of the year, I want to be in the best shape of my life. Well, currently I am like 32 weeks pregnant. So obviously like I'm not strong. I'm not six pack over here. And so life will throw us different things and we have to be constantly readjusting our goals and readjusting the things that we can do to make us feel good because we can't predict the future. We try, but we can't predict the future. So I love that you're going on walks again with your dog and having that time to actually reflect and sift through your thoughts to get quiet. I can relate to that too, Kat, especially if I feel like an imposter within a certain social group. The imposter syndrome kicks in and I start to withdraw. Oh, that is a good point. And so, yeah, I think I felt that a lot in high school when there were all the different friend groups and I was trying to fit in as we do in high school. And then it's like, you start to reveal something about yourself and the friend group kind of shuts you down. And then you're like, well, shoot, like if this is what it's like to open up, I'm just going to pull back and withdraw and isolate. So that's a really good point. I didn't even think about it like that, Kat. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I'm sure it's relatable. Like you're not alone in feeling that way. Okay. So we overcome imposter syndrome, one, by withdrawing, taking up space, going on your walk, doing your thing that you like to do that actually fills your cup. You can't sift through and you can't understand how you feel if you're constantly letting in all of this other information. And I'm preaching to the choir, like I need to get better at this too. And so that could look like going on your morning walk, doing journaling time, having the space, just having a dedicated night maybe on your calendar where you're not watching, you're not doing, you're kind of just sitting and chilling and doing the things that you actually like to do, whether that's like taking a bubble bath. I like bubble baths, or reading the book that you've been wanting to read. But just kind of like pulling back from the clutter of the world and giving yourself the time to like pause and sift and reflect and breathe. A really great book that goes along with this topic is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It is a faith-based book. It's written by a pastor, but it really talks about the importance of solitude and just getting clear on how you're feeling. So if you're a reader, I would advise you to read that. Now, number 2 with imposter syndrome and how we get rid of it. So once you take the time to pull back, you can see, right? A bow and arrow, like they pull back so they can like launch into space. No, not space. So they can launch forward into what they're doing and where they're going. So if you're constantly looking at everyone else and you're constantly saying, oh, wow, they're doing this and they're doing that, then you're devaluing what you're doing. So you have to believe that what you're doing is important. You have to believe that the things you're choosing to spend your time on are important. And let me know if you've ever done this. So have you ever gone to a store and bought like a certain top or a certain style of shoes or a certain style of pants or whatever, a certain thing, and then you bought it and then you were happy about your purchase, but then you went home and saw someone else buy something similar, except you like theirs better? Have you ever done that? Have you ever, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be clothes. It could be home decor. It could be anything. Like, have you ever gone to the store and bought something and gotten so excited about your thing and like, yes, this is awesome. But then once you take it home and you see someone else with a similar thing, you like theirs better. Has that ever been you? Let me know in the chat. I want to know. Okay. So there's tons of things that I could talk about that I've bought, and then I saw someone else on Instagram have it or something like that. And then it kind of devalued the thing that I bought. And there's the phrase, ignorance is bliss. And sometimes I think it's true. Like, you don't need to know if Sally bought this pair of shoes and then like, you're like, oh, they're so much better than mine. Like, sometimes we just don't need to know. And when we're constantly, there's this YouTuber, her name is Brainy Lee, and she said that like the grass on the other side of the fence is not greener. Like, the greener grass is the grass that you water. So if you're constantly giving your attention to other people, if you're constantly giving all of your focus to what someone else is doing, what someone else is wearing, how cute their baby is, how cute their home is, if you're constantly giving your attention to someone else's life, then you're not going to value your life as much. You're not going to enjoy your life as much. You're not going to sit in your life as much. And so you have to start to believe like the life that you're living is important. What you wake up and do, that's important. What you do with your time is important. And whatever hobby that you enjoy doing, whether that's like macrame or gardening or working out or YouTube videos, whatever hobby you enjoy doing, you have to believe that when you put your time there, that is time well spent. And it's a good thing for you to be doing that thing. And it's fun. It's fun to consume content. It's fun to check in on people. I have people on Instagram that I like, but you have to kind of check yourself and go, am I enjoying living life more vicariously through someone's Instagram stories, or am I actually savoring the life that I have? Like, that's an interesting question. Okay. It's coming through in the comments now. Yep, I've already caught myself doing that with Christmas decor this year. Yes. Okay, but first of all, like, these girls on Instagram are absolutely insane with their Christmas decor. Like, there's got to be hundreds of dollars spent on these decorations, because we went to Target today to look for some Christmas decorations, and some of these things were not cheap. And these girls on Instagram, they have like the full shebang. And I know Instagram is not real, but you look at this and you're like, how? How is this possible? And then Kat says, yes, bought a scarf, but my sister had the same one, immediately thought she looked better than me, finally told myself it didn't matter because I love the color blue and would buy it again. Yes. Okay. So I'm glad I'm not alone in this. I'm glad I'm not alone in this feeling. But it's like, why do we do this? We have to live our life, right? We have to do things with our time. We do things with our money. And how can we feel the best with the things that we decide to do? How can we be the most grateful? How can we be the most satisfied with what we do and what we purchase? How can we love our scarves no matter who else gets the same star, for love our Christmas decorations, for our Christmas decorations. How can we be content with how we're living our lives? If you're feeling discontent, again, that quote that from Breenie Lee, I'll type it. Breenie, she's like this London-based like motivational pep talk girl on YouTube. Breenie Lee, I think that's how you spell it. I'll just put it in the chat. But she said, the grass that is greener is the grass that you water. So how do you water your own grass? How do you pay attention to what you're doing? How do you stay in your own world and be so happy and fulfilled and content with the choices that you make, with how you spend your money, with how you spend your time? How do we do that? How do we do that? Any ideas? Any thoughts with that? Breenie Lee, Lauren has money sign. Yeah, the money sign I'm assuming was from the Christmas decor. They just have a lot of money, those girls. So how do we water our own grass? I'm going to write this down in my notes. Okay. Our own grass. Perfect. So some ideas for how we water our own grass. Maybe you're not going to like this. Be very careful about who you follow online. So people post whatever they want online, and that's fine. I'm not the Instagram police. Anyone can post whatever they want. Fine, whatever, I don't care. But you have to be responsible for how you feel, right? You're responsible for the emotions that you get. You're responsible for the attitudes you feel, and you're responsible for how you walk away from apps and how you walk away from social media. So if someone that you follow posts a certain type of content, and as a result, it makes you feel some type of way that's not good, it is your responsibility how you feel. So two things. You could change how you see that person. So you could be like, well, there's no way that they could be perfect all the time. Their house probably isn't like that, blah, 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 blah. So you could change your mindset, or you could just not see their stuff. You could clean out your social media, maybe mute or unfollow. But you're responsible for how you feel, and you're responsible for your energy in this world. So Lauren, we'll just do the Christmas holiday decor example because it's easy. It's easy to like understand. So if I wake up and I go on Instagram and I see this beautiful blogger and her home for Christmas is amazing and the decor is insane, but as a result, I feel like, oh my gosh, my decor sucks. What I have going on isn't very good. Like, I really need to do something about this. As a result of seeing her stuff, if that makes me feel bad about myself, it's my job, it's my opportunity to get rid of that. I don't need to see it. What they're doing is not my business. I don't need to know what's going on, right? And that's hard because I like to know everything. You might be the same. You like to see what's going on. You like to know. But honestly, if you're in charge of how you feel, if you're in charge of how you show up in this world, and if you're in charge of what you do in your energy level, then it's your responsibility to make sure that the people you follow make you feel energized, make you feel focused, motivated, encouraged, and inspired. Because we have enough going on in our own heads. We have enough working against us in our own heads. And so we need every advantage, right? I know I do. I need every advantage to keep going, to feel motivated, to get that focus. And if someone online triggers something inside of me, even if it's not their intention at all, even if they would never, ever want me to feel that way, if I feel a certain way, as a result of seeing someone's content, it is my job to clear it out, to mute or unfollow. No hard feelings, but you got to do it for you. So Kat says, started watering my grass with positive and confidence builders like Lauren Jewell and Sarena Hess. The Daily Connoisseur has been a great motivator too. Oh, Kat, thank you. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about here. Like, make sure you have good friends. Make sure you have people that you listen to that uplift you. Make sure you're giving your attention to good things. Make sure you're being intentional with the content that you consume, because content is just like food, right? Content is like the food that we eat. So if we're eating bad food, if we're consuming bad content, then we are going to feel bad. Like that simple, that easy. So being very careful with what you're taking in your time and in your life. So I love that, Kat. That's awesome. I'm going to look into the daily connoisseur. I'm going to write that down. The daily connoisseur. That's a fun, that's a fun word. Daily connoisseur. Okay, perfect. I'll look into that one because I haven't heard of her. Okay, so far we've talked about imposter syndrome, how to get rid of it. Number one, create space, pull back, go on a walk, do a journal, time, whatever, like create your space. Number two is to water your own grass. Look at your life and think, okay, what I have going on, this is valuable. This is good. I like my life. And how do we sit in our lives and feel grateful? How do we sit in the things that we already have and actually take the time to appreciate it? Things that I do, I just make a little list, not all the time, maybe like once a week, but like 10 things that I love about my life. And some people might be like, Sarena, like that's a little vain, but honestly, like if I don't spend the time soaking in and appreciating what I do have, it's so easy for me to just want more. Like that's the easy thing. Please tell me that's not just me. Like we're constantly wired in our culture to consume and to buy and to purchase and more and more and more. I need more clothes. I need different home decor. I just need to go to Target because I just need to buy something. Like we're constantly wired for more, and we're not really wired to sit in what we have and be grateful. So an activity that you can try is just like 5 things you really, really love about your life, or like 10 things that you just appreciate that's going on in your life. Like for me, 5 things. I really love the backsplash in my kitchen. So simple, but like I love looking at it. It's like I see it and I'm like, that is so pretty. I love that. Another thing I really love about my life, I love my bed. My bed. I love this thing. It is so cozy. It is so perfect. Like, and it's so simple, but it's like you have to look at the simple things in your life and just say, yes, I am affirming that I like this in my life. I am affirming that my life is good. I am affirming that I have good things. Because Tony Robbins talks about this. Tony Robbins says, like, you find what you're looking for. And his example of this is when you buy a car. So say you buy a white Jeep. It's easy. Say you buy a white Jeep. And then all of a sudden, when you were riding around in your white Jeep, you're saying, oh, there's another one. There's another white Jeep. Another white Jeep. There's another one. You start to notice how many other white Jeeps there are. Or fill in the blank with whatever car that you have. You start to notice all the other people with the same car. And you go like, were there that many of this car before I bought it? And the answer is yes. There were the same number of cars, but you're just noticing it more because that's the car that you have. You're paying attention to that thing. Your subconscious is like, when that thing pops up. And so in your life, if you are looking for the bad, if you are looking for something bad to happen to you, if you're looking for a reason why you cannot do something, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you'll find, right? So if you're looking for reasons why you should not start an Etsy shop, then your brain will go to work. It'll be like, oh, well, you don't have enough time. Oh, well, you don't have the marketing experience. Well, I don't think you could create a good product. Your brain finds what you're looking for. But if you're looking for things that inspire you or motivate you or that you want to feel grateful for, if you're looking for things like that, then you're going to train your brain to look for the good. Okay? And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to do personal development so that it becomes automatic and so that we don't have to think about it. But when we're first starting, it's not so seamless. We have to do a little bit of work. Okay? Are you prepared to do a little bit of work? So an activity like what I just said, get your 10 things that you're grateful for. And that helps train your brain to look for things that are good, to look for things that are encouraging in your life, that are motivating for you. So start training your brain to see the good and to understand that the grass you have is green, and then to water it and to cultivate that self-care in your life and that discipline in your life to be like, yo, I'm worth it. I'm worth the time. I'm worth the energy. I'm worth the money. And I want to make my life nice because I have to live it. I don't have to live your life. You have to live your life. So if you have to live your life, you may as well make it nice for yourself because no one's getting out of here alive. We're not, you have to live your life. You have to go through day to day. You have to work at this job. You have to do that thing. So please make it nice for yourself. Appreciate what you have. Don't compare. Don't only consume. Don't only look at other people's stuff. Look at your life and ask yourself, how can I make it better? How can I make it more beautiful? What are things that I could do to give me joy and give me life with this like finite timeline that I have on this earth? This is so good, Sarena. I really appreciate you. Lauren, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate you like taking the time out of your calendar to like sit, and it's almost like a girl chat. It's what I feel. But it's when I speak, it's like I'm speaking to myself too, in a sense, because it's the things that I've been working through, the things that I've been learning. And right now it's just, I feel like I've been asking, like, why am I so concerned with what so-and-so is doing? Why am I so much more excited with what so-and-so is doing than what I'm doing? And it's like, no, like what you're doing is important. The work you're doing is important. Whether you decide to wake up and get ready and do the things or not, like it matters if you show up in life or not. And so I just really hope that like, as you're listening and as you're, engaging and all that stuff, that like, you do take what applies to you, and not everything will. I get that, but I know something will, and I hope that you take it. And then for the rest of the week, like you feel better and you feel like you have more pep to your step. And that's all I want. I just want to make your life better in some way, like happier, give you food for thought, something like that. Just give you some encouragement. Like that's the goal. That's the goal here. Okay. That happy creator with Liz. Hey girl, what you are doing is important. What you are doing is important. What you are doing is important. Okay, so reiteration. Yes, what you're doing is important. It's important whether you show up or not. It's important whether you speak up or not. If there's an idea on your heart that you should probably do, then you need to do it because that idea was given to you. That idea came to you like a lost puppy dog and said, please help me live. Please help me come into this life. So number 3, for how we overcome imposter syndrome. Number 1 was get quiet. Number 2 was to believe that your grass is green and water it. Number 3 is execution. And execution, not as in death, we're not killing anything, but execution as in do the dang thing. And the person that just popped in, Liz, the happy creator, she is really good at execution. She's a great example of execution. So it's one thing to think of ideas, and it's one thing to kind of contemplate and be a thinker. Thinking's good. But if you are not taking action, then you will be stuck in the thinking and you will just go in circles. If you're constantly thinking about like, should I do that? Should I not do that? At some point, you just need to draw the line and you just need to take the action. And there's a lot of ways I could try to say this to you, but I don't need to make things more complicated than they are. Like it's simple, but it's not easy. Your confidence comparisons with food get me. Girl, I understand. I like food too. I'm always telling myself I am what I eat physically and mentally. That's really true, Kat. Like, you are what you eat. You are what comes into your life. Like you are the accumulation of the content that you allow in. So if you're allowing a bunch of garbage to come into your life, then a bunch of garbage is going to come out of your life. Liz, do the thing. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Who do you think is judging you? Who the heck are I can hear Liz right now. Who is this person? Who is judging you? If you haven't already, go check out Liz because she's hilarious. And she's an excellent executor. But so for execution, let's talk about it. So I worked at a restaurant for a long time. We're going with the food thing, Kat. We're still talking about food, apparently. I worked at a restaurant for a long time, and there were regulars, and they would come in every single day. There were two old men, and one of the old men, his name was Art, and then the other, his name is Lou. And they were the same kind of. They both lived in a small town. They both had lived there their whole lives, similar backgrounds. They both served in the war, yada, yada, yada. They're basically the same. But big difference, the way they carried themselves and what they did with their lives was different. Lou, he was kind of like, kind of complainy, grumpy, always criticizing, never had anything good to say. And then Art, he was so nice and so kind, and people wanted to be around him all the dang time. And so if you have to choose, which one would you be? Would you be the happy old man or like the grumpy old man? Like, clearly you would be the happy person. Clearly you would want to be someone that other people want to be around. And so how do we do that? Okay, what did Art do every day that made people want to be around him? He showed up. He was happy. He was grateful. When someone asked, "How are you today?" he said, "I'm on the green side of the grass," so that's more than some can say, so things are pretty good. You know, we are what we commit to doing every single day. So what do you do every day? This is really a question of like, how do you spend your time? What are the things that you actually do? And I'm not trying to shame you for what you do. I'm not trying to judge you for how you spend your time. Like, everybody spends their time differently, but kind of check in with yourself and go, okay, honesty time. Am I spending my life the way I want to be spending my life? Am I just thinking about things or wanting to do things, or am I actually doing the things? Am I looking for reasons why it won't work out, or am I looking for reasons why it will work out? So again, no shame, no judgment, because shame is not a helpful emotion. Judgment is not a helpful emotion. Neither of those give you progress. But honestly, reflect. Am I doing things right now that are helping me move forward to who I want to be? For me, it's kind of scary being pregnant because I was listening to a sermon this morning, and my pastor was like, your kids pick up on who you are. So the habits you have, the things that you do, the beliefs that you have, your kids will pick up those things. And so I was like, oh crap. And I know I'll just be having a newborn in January, so she won't necessarily be picking up everything immediately, but it is something to think about. If you have kids, or if you there are people watching and seeing how you live your life, and it matters if you do the things or if you don't do the things. If you have kids, they're watching how you do your life, and that's an amazing thing, but it's also kind of scary because it's like, oh shoot, better get things in order. Okay, gotta catch up over here. My dad always said the simplest things to do are often the hardest things to do. I'm on the green side of the grass. I'm totally saving that line for when I'm old. Yeah. Art passed away a couple of years ago, the happy old man. And it just made me reflect on who he was and what type of life he lived. Everybody loved him. Nobody had anything bad to say. I went to his funeral and it was packed. And, it's not guaranteed. Your life isn't guaranteed. Not to be morbid, but you don't know how it's going to go. Sometimes it feels like our lives are just constantly dragging on, but you don't know if you get tomorrow. There was this girl at my church, and she was driving to church, a normal Sunday. She was driving to church, and she was going into the parking lot, going across the intersection at a stoplight. And she was beep, 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 right here. And then all of a sudden, a drunk driver ran the red light and slammed into her car. And her name is Jordan. And so Jordan was hit by a drunk driver at 8:50 in the morning when she was on her way to church, something she had done hundreds of thousands of times. And at that moment, when the drunk driver hit her, she's never been the same. She hasn't fully recovered. She can't have normal conversations anymore. Her life was completely changed. And not to be morbid, but why do I think that nothing bad could ever happen to me? Life is really delicate. Life is really fragile. And it's not to scare you that I'm telling you these stories, but it's like, honestly, you don't know. You don't know what could happen. Like, your life can change in an instant. And like, that's what happened to Jordan. That's what happened in her life. Her life changed in an instant. And so if we spend all of our time humming and hawing and like, should I do this or should I not do this? And never actually doing and never actually taking action. Like, what if something happens to you where you can't walk and maybe you always wanted to do a marathon, but now that's not possible? Like, not to be morbid, I keep saying that, but it's like, don't expect the worst, but also your life isn't guaranteed. So please make good use of the time that you have, because you don't know how much time you have. Like, it feels like we will live forever, but we can't, we won't. And your life isn't guaranteed. So really pounding that into you, but please take action. Please do the things. Please live a full and please live a vibrant life. And what Liz was saying, who's judging you? Who's judging you? Who is it? Like, tell me their name. Who is judging you? Don't worry about it. It's none of their business. They don't have to live your life. You have to live your life. So those have been my 3 tips and ideas and strategies to overcoming imposter syndrome. I'm actually coming out with a new training for imposter syndrome later this year, early next year. So like December, January, and it's all about imposter syndrome. If you want to keep up with this, if you want to know like, oh, I want more information about imposter syndrome, I need to like conquer this mountain in my life, then let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram or put your email in the chat or comment on this video after the fact. But I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome, and I'm going to create a thing, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to come out very soon. But that's all for today, really. I just wanted to encourage you and be like, yo, what you're doing is important. The things you're doing in life are important. You need to invest time and energy and money into yourself. And you don't know how much time you truly have. So please do the things, take the action, do whatever you need to do. Do whatever is going to bother you and that you have to do for yourself. My paramedic instructor always said, it's better to make a wrong decision than no decision. And that's true, Kat, because it's better to make a wrong decision than no decision, because indecision, it leaves it, you're just like, I don't know. And sometimes by not making a decision, like, you're still making a decision. Something is still happening as a result of you not being decisive. And it's better to make a decision because you can move forward faster. You can grow faster. An example of that, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. An example of that is like YouTube Shorts. So I don't know what I'm doing. No idea. We're just testing it out. But it's better to create something and fail fast and then learn what I'm doing and then grow from it. And then the next video, do a little bit better, right? So we learn faster when we act faster. And it's different in different situations. Sometimes you need to like really plan and really be thorough. Like, sometimes it's different. But if we're constantly in analysis paralysis, then we can never learn the thing that we have to learn because we didn't ever do the thing that we had to do. So you're absolutely right, Kat. Like, I agree, 1,000,000%. Okay, again, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for hanging out in the confidence community. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, put them in the chat, let me know. And then if you want to be one of the first to know about the imposter syndrome resource that I'm creating, let me know. Drop your email in the comments or in my DMs on Instagram. I don't really have much else to say. I hope you have an amazing Sunday. I hope you do the things you need to do that refresh your heart and refresh your soul and give you the confidence boost you need. Thank you for hanging out with me. Yeah, I just hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.